let's talk about working with Microsoft Office and SharePoint. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go into a list. Now this list was made before, and it's called our customers. It will take a moment to open it up. It's the first time we've had it open. And I believe, oh yes, this is the list that needs the back-end database. And that's currently disabled. So what we'll do is we'll see if we can find another one. And again, that one is missing. Let's go to regional meetings, which is a calendar. But we know a calendar is also a list. And I'm going to go up to my calendar option. Now, notice this is grayed out. There are two reasons for that. The first reason is something called the Microsoft Minimal Download Strategy, which means by default it won't be available, but if you refresh the page, it will be. Now, the other reason is that it has been disabled as a feature by the IT. I'm going to do an F5 on this page, go back to the calendar, and there it is. Now, that icon will be there. However, Outlook has to be configured, email has to be functioning. So we're going to select it, and it will ask us if we want to allow this to happen. And we wait a moment, and Outlook does open. Now, I'm going to pause this while Outlook runs through its processing. And here we are. Outlook has opened, and now we get another pop-up. This is from Outlook. Do you want to allow this to happen? And I'm going to say yes. Now, all you have to be is a viewer to have this work. So if you have Outlook and you can view a list or a calendar, then you can actually set this up. All right, now you will notice in the background, I have my calendar, I have another SharePoint calendar, and this one that I just sent out. Now, and of course I get all these pop-ups because I have mail that I haven't dealt with in a while. And we're going to just push that aside and let that work away. Now, if I am at least a contributor here to regional meetings, I can select and I can actually create a new item here. Now it is taking a moment. Oh, this one we sent out as read-only. But if there's something on the calendar here, I can just drag it across. Let's try this one. And it looks like on this one, I can actually create a new meeting. I should have been able to do it on here. I'm not sure how this has been set up. So we're going to go to this one, and let's do a new meeting. And it's going to actually interact with SharePoint. It's very slow. There we come. And we're going to send this to adam@contoso.com. And we'll send it back to ourselves. administrator@contoso.com. And we're going to send it. And we're just going to say OK. Without a location, send it anyway. Now, notice it updated my calendar. I made the meeting, and I'm actually an attendee, so it updated the SharePoint calendar, and it updated my personal calendar. Now, if I had something in my personal calendar, I'm going to save and close that. I can actually take it, and if I have sufficient enough permissions, and if my mouse is working, and it doesn't appear to be, I should be able to drag that over to SharePoint, but it is being a little finicky. Let's close this one, get a little more room. Now this could be an issue within our virtual environment that we can't drag it, but it's not a problem. Let's go back to international training in SharePoint, and let's go to Browse, and it should be on our list, and I believe it's this one, international training. It's running. I'm just going to pause the recording. All right, so we are here in international training, general events, and we did, when we were in Outlook, create an event here, and you will notice it is on the 14th of September. So let's go and find the 14th of September. Now you'll notice I don't see it here yet. So we're going to refresh the view. And if you still don't see it, you may have to back out and go in again. But let's do it another way. Let's go to the 12th and add an event. And when this opens up, I'm just going to call it Test Event 3. And we'll leave everything else and we'll save it. And there it is. Now back at Outlook, and we're going to refresh our view here. And let me find the F5. And I may have to send and receive and synchronize. And there it is. Now that one, you will notice, I do not have in my personal calendar. I wasn't invited to the event or the meeting. And if I hover, I see some information. And I can drag that. But I can also double click, make edits here while I'm in Outlook. Let's go back and see if they have been made here. Make edits as. So that's how we can interact with the calendar. Now I am going to go back to my standard site, my portal. Again, this will take a moment. And there we are. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to, I believe the ISO projects has a list that we can use. The ISO projects is a child site, so the permissions should cascade down. And we have project summaries. And it is just a list. Now, because it is a list, I can export this to Excel. I could also connect to Outlook, but I have to do a refresh. Let's export this to Excel. And we get a little pop-up here, and it's a query. We're going to open it. We're going to wait. Of course, it has to run a security scan. It's going from one application to another, and Excel is attempting to open. And we're going to enable this because it's seen as a potential security breach. And there we are. Now this does not go back and forth. All right, if we want to do that, we must actually use the Data tab and set up a connection, which is beyond this course.